Welcome to the Echo Driving School channel. We're in another lockdown, and naturally I thought the best way to utilize my time would be to make a few more videos that will help anybody who is taking the test coming up. Unfortunately, there will be long delays happening because of these 4 weeks lockdown, which unfortunately I don't think there is going to be a good solution to getting a quicker date. The best thing that I would say is keep practicing. Anybody who is obviously test standard, if you don't want to take a lesson every week, you could always do one every 2 weeks, and that is what I have been doing with my students. I haven't been doing that many lessons with them, just enough to get them with their skills. So this route that I'm going to be talking about in a minute was done by one of my students a couple of weeks back, where it actually touches more to do with the Croydon route rather than the Mitcham route. So what the examiner did over here was, at the end of the road coming out of the Mitcham test centre, he asked the person to turn right. I will have the sat nav playing in the background so that you know where they're going. Right, now, so as you're coming out of here, as I've said in my other videos, this is your first hurdle, and you want to make sure that you do not affect anybody. So someone's just given me away and I've just come out from here. Now, as you're going along this road, it's a 30 road, and you want to make progress. You want to look at the mirrors. You want to make sure that any hazard, like this woman I see here, you want to make sure that you acknowledge them by checking your mirrors. Obviously this route, this video that I'm doing is where I'm driving and not my student, so obviously I have to look at the road along with talk at the same time, so multitasking naturally. As you're going along here, there is a car reversing, so I've checked my mirrors, I've clutched down, I've reduced it to second gear. That allows him time to go. I've checked again. The examiner is aware of my actions, and therefore it's perfectly okay for me to continue. Now, as you go along here, there is another road on the right and there is another road on the left. So approach this with caution. This car is coming out. I'm going to clutch down, put it into first gear, check my mirrors, center, right, left accordingly, and then check your mirrors again and into second gear. As I go along down here, there are parked cars on both sides, so make sure you are checking your side mirrors. There is another car trying to come out. I'm going to literally not let him go because he looked as if he was hesitant, so I'm going to make progress. Now, the sat nav in a minute will acknowledge that I'm going to the second exit. Now, usually the sat navs,
after 200 yards, go left on the roundabout, second exit.
So I just paused there so you can hear how the sat nav talks. So the sat nav said turn left, second exit, which is the Canterbury Road exit, is where the Croydon test centre is. So you want to be in the left lane.
Go left on the roundabout, second exit.
So you want to be in the left lane, and you don't want to signal on approach to this roundabout. Because it's your second exit, you need to signal after the first exit. Now, I've got another camera which I will show you when I'm editing this, that will show hopefully you when I went. Now, when you come out of the roundabout, make sure that you are not causing anybody to slow down, swerve or stop. The general rule is, if I can walk across as a pedestrian, I can drive across. So there is no cars coming. I'm going to now take the road, check my left mirror, and then give a left signal, and then move off. Now, once I've moved off, I'm checking my center mirror again, and then making progress. I'm going to keep this junction clear, so that if anybody's coming out, they can come out. As I go along this road, it's a 20 road, and this road can be busy. Bear in mind that obviously I am making this video during lockdown, so there's going to be an element of traffic that's not going to be normal. I mean, from what I've seen, it looks fairly normal so far, so I don't know obviously how much people are actually adhering to this lockdown, but you know, we shall see. So first hazard I see here is the zebra crossing, so no one at the crossing, and I'm making progress. As I go down this route, just remind yourself it's a 20-mile-an-hour zone, so to be honest, you're not going to be able to do that much more than 20. It's quite a thick road with traffic, but there are quite a few pedestrian crossings, so zebra crossings mainly. All of them are a single zebra crossing, so they're not a two, they're a single one. So I'm just approaching, I can see there is another zebra crossing coming. So again, check your mirrors, acknowledge to the examiner that you've seen it with checking your mirrors. So as I come over here, I'm approaching with caution. There's not really anybody crossing, so therefore I'm making progress, and constantly watch how my speed is 19, 20. At times it may go to 21.
Turn left, then turn right.
So the sat-nav just said at the end of the road turn left and then turn right. So first thing I'm going to do is wait until I get closer to the junction. There is a roundabout, so make sure you are aware of if there's any pedestrians coming. So check your mirrors, center, left, you give a left signal, about 5 car length, which is, according to the sat-nav, it's about 50 to 60 yards. I would say that 10 yards is roughly 1 car length. So if you are struggling with the sat-nav, you could use that as a good guide, that 50 yards is usually 5 car lengths. So as I approach here, I'm just checking on my right, it's just a pedestrian crossing. I'm checking on my left for cyclists. Also remember, there is a lot of cycle lanes now which are all with pillars. So I'm just looking left and right, nobody crossing, and then I'm going to make progress. Now I'm checking to my right, no one coming, checking to my left, final look, and then I'm going to come out. The sat nav is going to tell me to turn right, so check center, right
turn
mirror.
Right.
Now here, there is going to be cars obviously coming in front of me, so make sure you're positioned in the correct position. So left of center of your center lane. Now I'm just going to wait until the traffic allows me to pass. Sometimes it could be a long wait, other times you will make progress. So someone's just flashed at me. So if it's safe and someone flashes at you, then by all means take the turn. Obviously we know what the highway code means. When someone flashes at you, it's to warn you of their presence, but we know in reality as a driver it could mean anything. So make sure you make the judgment and don't just go because somebody has flashed at you. Go because you are 100% sure that they are actually talking to you and they haven't just made a signal to say hello to somebody else. So at the end of this road we are going to be going ahead. The sat-nav will not really say anything here. There is a car trying to come out and I'm going to probably let him out.
200 yards, turn left.
So it's talking about the 200 yards. So obviously, you know, I'm not going to give a signal now because I am still 200 yards. I'm going to cross the road here. It is a crossroad and a fairly busy one. So bear it in mind that there could be cars coming on both sides. So there isn't here. The pedestrian isn't crossing on my side, so I'm going to make progress. At the end of this road, I'm going to turn left is what the sat-nav is going to say. So I'm just counting down. It's about 90 yards at the moment, and then it's going to come to 50 yards. Here we are. So check your mirrors, give a signal, make sure you clutch down early. I am driving a diesel car, so I'm going to clutch down 3 to 4 car length before actually stopping, so therefore there will be no judder. I'm looking on both sides and then making progress. Once I've straightened up my car, center mirror into second gear, and we've got a little bit of meeting. So check your left mirror.
Turn right, then take the second left.
Check your right mirror. So every time look forward, right mirror, right shoulders. If there is no cars coming on your right, then obviously you give a signal. I've got quite a few cars coming, which unfortunately you won't see in the camera. So I'm just waiting for cars to pass. Once I see the final car has passed, then I will give a right signal. I look over my right shoulder, handbrake down, the car moves. We're going to take the first road on the left, center, left, left mirror. As you're turning, make sure you check your left mirror and make sure you take the turn in the appropriate gear. Now, some turns you'll be able to do in first gear, some turns will be second, depends on what you can handle and so forth. Now, I'm just going to check my left mirror again. I'm checking my right mirror, moving over slightly to the right, and then making progress. Now, this road is all a 20. There is a pedestrian crossing, so I'm going to check my center mirror to acknowledge he's there, and then just drive at 20. The position that you'll see my car is in the center of the road so far, because there's parked cars on both sides. So you need to be 1 meter away from both sides. Now, I'm checking my left mirror, checking my right mirror, making progress here. And then if any car's coming, obviously you would look at a space where at least you or the car behind, if there is any, can fit. Never pull up at a position where it's just you can fit, because what is the other driver going to do behind you? And therefore that could equal to a foul, because you've obviously not read the road well.
After 200 yards, turn left.
So here there is a car coming. I'm just going to come in, half out. That's going to allow him space. Then I check my right mirror, and then I'm moving out using clutch control. As they go down this bit, the road is bending a little bit, so make sure you position a bit more left so that you are within your side, and then obviously you make progress. Now, end of this road, we're going to turn left, center mirror,
turn left,
left mirror.
Take the third left.
Here's a left signal. Approaching first gear, let the car roll to a stop. You look for a gap, so there's a few cars coming. Also, you've got to worry about the crossroad in front of us as well. So someone might give me way. Let's see. Just giving them a thank you, and someone has let me go. So as soon as you turn here, there is a pedestrian crossing. It is a puff-in crossing, I believe, because there will be no flashing amber. So remember, for anybody doing their theory as well, if the amber light is flashing, it's a pelican crossing. If it is a straight, steady amber, then it's usually a puff-in crossing, which has an infrared to say that, you know, when people cross, then it will go to green. Now, this road that we've entered, this road is a 30.
After 200 yards, turn left.
So we've just come from a 20 miles an hour, and it's a short 30. Now, in 140 yards, it wants us to turn left. So it's not the first road, it's the road after that. So make sure that you understand that it's not the first road, it's the second road. So center mirror, left mirror, here's my 60 yards, here's my signal. And then you cover your brakes, you take the turn in first or second gear, depends on your car. If you're driving a diesel car and you can handle it, then second's fine. If you can't, then take it in first. Obviously there are certain roads you can do, but you've just got to make sure you understand which one is the most appropriate gear. So we're back to a bit more of meeting situation. So checking your sides at all times to make sure that you are aware of your surrounding. When you are meeting traffic, make sure you're with confidence and don't panic. A situation, if you plan properly, you should never be in any position that, you know, you'll get yourself in trouble. So here I'm just going to pull in here. Another car behind me can pull in, and it's okay for me to pass. Whenever you are stopping, make sure you've got enough room in front. Then you check your right mirror. As the car passes, be ready to make progress and move the car, because sometimes cars behind you will follow, but unfortunately it will create a little gridlock. So I'm checking my left mirror. They've given me way, I've given a thank you. Make progress. Ahead of us, you can see there is a bigger. Obviously, it's one of those children's buses. So I'm going to check in my left mirror, pulling into the left, half in, half out. The guy's giving me way, so I'm checking my mirrors again. Check my left mirror. I'll give him the thank you. Make progress. Check my right mirror again. If there's enough space, you make there. Obviously, not forgetting to change gears as and when that's required. So you can't do this whole road in first gear or second. You will have to change. And this is what makes manual driving a lot more difficult with all these gear changes.
200 yards,
so now
turn left, then
I've got
cross the roundabout.
So now I've got the cyclist in front of me. I'm not going to overtake the cyclist until it's safe to do so. So don't be pressurized by the cyclist in any way. You just look for a safe gap, enough gap. So I would say a door width that you want to do. Make sure you keep a door width from the cyclist as a minimum. So this guy's just giving me way. Check my right mirror, check my left mirror. At the end of the road, we are going to be turning left. So I've just turned off the sat nav because some of her comments they come at the same time as mine. So just turned it off. So it's going to be myself directing you. So we've got a roundabout. Make sure you look to your right, and if there's not a car coming, you make progress. Now this road has a lot of zebra crossings. So this road is Bristrock Road. So make sure you are practicing this route. There are many zebra crossings on this road. It is a 30 miles an hour. So anybody who hasn't checked the speed limit, there is no sign that I could see. And again, the highway code states if there are no road signs and there are street lights, then it's 30 miles an hour. So another zebra crossing. This is known as two crossings because it has an island in the middle. Now I'm just making progress, so my speed's just going up to 28, 29, and there's another zebra crossing. Again, it's two crossings because of the island in the middle. So I'm going to drop it into second gear because the pedestrian's taking a little bit longer to get onto the curb. So again, check my mirror and then making progress. Now as I go along down here, and again another crossing. No one at the crossing, but there were a few people around, so I just decided to drop a gear. I'm just making progress now. Checking my mirrors, who's behind me. There are parked cars. So here I'm doing about 28, 29 now. Check my left mirror before I come in. Check my right mirror before I come out. And then again, ahead of us, we're going to get two things. So we've got a junction coming up where we're going to turn left, and we have another zebra crossing. So I would say if the road is tight and there is obviously bigger vehicles parked on the left, drop it to second gear, approach it in second gear so that you've got time to think. So there's the pedestrian coming. It's a one crossing, so I have to wait until the pedestrian reaches the other side. I'm looking on my right. There's another woman crossing, but she's not actually crossing. Turning left at the end of this road. So I'm going to look at my right, look at my left, and then this car's blocking, so I'm taking the turn. Check my center mirror, and we're going to take the first road on the right. So center right, right signal, position myself towards the center of the lane so that the cars on the left can pass. Now you've got these new scooters that are on the road, so you've got to be very careful with the scooters. Remember, you've got to treat them just the same as another car or a cyclist. Now this road that we've just entered, the sign is just here. I've just slowed down. It's a one-way road. Many people have failed here because they don't notice that it's a one-way road. At the end of the road, the examiner says turn right, or the sat-nav does, and they position themselves on the left-hand side of the road, which is wrong. If you are turning right at a one-way road, you have to give a right signal and position all the way, like I am, to the other side of the road, and that is acknowledging that you've seen that it is a one-way road. So I've looked on both sides, no one coming, and then obviously I've taken the turn. Now, end of this road, we're going to turn left. So here comes the left signal, and I'm looking right. Now it's a fairly busy road. but as I said, because of this lockdown, it's not going to be normal traffic. So I've almost done this route, and probably about half an hour it's taken me at most, whereas this route obviously will take you about 40 minutes with more stops in there. Also remember, with the coronavirus and this whole pandemic, if you do one serious mistake, then the examiners will tell you to drive towards the test center, and you will not do the full 45 minutes or 40 minutes of the exam. I've had in the past, in August I think, where somebody failed within 10 minutes of coming out the test center, so the examiner just made them go into a side road and turn the car around and come back to the test center. So it is happening, so you've got to make sure that when you do your test, you've got to be 110% ready, not 50%, not 20% or anything like that ridiculous. Now at the roundabout, you're going to turn right, fourth exit, so center lane, center mirror, right signal, and you position yourself on the right hand side of the two lanes, and you're looking for a safe gap again. Make sure that you're not causing anybody any issues. You are coming out only when it's safe to do so. So there's no cars on my right now, so I'm going to come out. Make sure you maintain a right signal until you go past your third exit. So I've just gone past second, this is third exit. Look at your left mirror, left signal, left mirror again, and then you make progress. Check your center mirror again, into third gear, cancel your signal if it hasn't already done so. So this person's going to park their car here, so I'm just waiting for the person to park their car. Check my right mirror, and then overtake as I come out, overtake the vehicle. Now you don't have to overtake the vehicle. I would probably say in the exam it's better to just wait until it's finished. Every situation is different. My situation was such that it was better for me to overtake him because I could do so. Now we're coming back to the test center again, 30 miles an hour, and that was your whole test basically. So as hopefully it's going to be helpful, and keep going through the videos in slow motion if you have to. Fairly easy route. There was a lot of meeting in this route, so make sure you practice your meeting, MSPSL, mirror, signal, position, speed, look, and yeah, stay safe, and thank you for watching.